Hi everybody, my name is Bookie and I'm here with the Good Eve channel. And today I want to talk to you about 5 key steps to protect your finances against inflation. Now what you can expect from this video is for us to explore a few ideas that can help you to preserve your earning power. Inflation does come to us all, and with all the things that have happened over the last few years with the pandemic and all these governments printing so much money, there has been an inflationary effect. So what this video is going to discuss are ideas for you to begin to think about and take the steps that can help you preserve your earning power. Now, before I get started with my 5 key steps, I'd like you to first hit that like button. And I'd also like you to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. What are you waiting for? All this good content, come on, subscribe, join the gang. And also, I'd like you to share. I'm giving you 5 steps, so share it with 5 people. And let them also figure out how to protect their finances just like you're going to today. So, the first thing I want to do as I jump into this video is to define inflation. According to Investopedia, inflation is defined as the decline of purchasing power of a given currency over time. Another definition is a general increase in prices and the fall of the purchasing value of money. So now with these two definitions of inflation, you understand that it means you may still be earning the same salary or making the same income, but that 10,000 naira you were earning before, and I use 10,000 naira because I know you're not earning 10,000 naira, I know you're earning far more than that, but let's just use this number for ease of example. So that 10,000 naira you've been earning, you earned last year and the year before. Maybe before that 10,000 naira could buy you, for instance, a loaf of bread. Or like 2 years ago, maybe that 10,000 could buy you like 10 loaves of bread. And then last year it could buy you 8 loaves of bread. And this year it can only buy you 3 loaves of bread. You're still earning 10,000 naira. But this bread is not going to do it. So that's what they mean in terms of inflation. You may still be earning the same absolute real figure in terms of the currency amount, but what that money can do for you becomes less and less and less. So what's the first thing you do when you realize this has happened? Do not panic. Repeat after me. I will not panic. Panic will not help. It will not make you better. If you go out and buy, say, okay, well, the price of bread is going up every day, so I'm just going to buy enough bread for the whole year. Where are you going to store it? So you just waste your money buying a ton of bread, and guess what's going to happen? It's going to be wasted, which has worsened your situation. So don't panic, remain calm. You need to formulate a plan. So the first thing you need to do is not panic. Appreciate, recognizes what it is, remain calm, meditation, breathe in and out, do whatever it takes to not overreact to this realization. The second step you need to take is you need to scan the market for asset classes, that is investments that appear have not yet caught up with inflation, because inflation also has a positive side. So for instance, there may be property, maybe land that you've noticed, for the last 5 years, they've been selling this land in this area for 5,000 naira. And I keep saying, when I have money, when I have money, when I have money. But if you realize that there's been an inflationary effect, but that land, for instance, in that area has not yet caught up, you do your investigation. So that's why you scan, you investigate, and find out, no, for some reason, this thing is still depressed. People have not yet caught up. That's an opportunity for you. So you have to identify as many opportunities like that around you in your area that you can take advantage of. Even the shares in the stock market or the Nigerian Stock Exchange, there are a lot of blue chip companies that it wasn't until maybe recently that their share prices are beginning to catch up with the impacts of inflation. The prices are still quite depressed. So there's an opportunity there to begin to try and park your money in some of these asset classes. Point 3, review your current asset allocations based on your age, your risk appetite, your personal preferences, and consider increasing your exposure to income generating, i.e. dividend paying stocks and equities. So now I'm getting a little bit technical, but it's important that that's why we're taking it step by step. You need to look at, perhaps because you've been very conservative in the past, you've only done in Nigeria what we call treasury bills, what they would call in the US CD, certificates of deposit. Well, there was a time in Nigeria you could get an interest rate as high as 16%, then 11%. But if you realize that the rate of inflation is 15%, and you can find the inflation rates that are published by the CBN on a monthly basis. So if you discover that right now, for instance, treasury bills in Nigeria are at about 1% to 2%, and inflation is at, I don't know what it is this month, but a few months ago it was as high as 15%. You know that a 1% or a 3%, your investment is not going to help you bridge the gap. So you wouldn't consider that type of investment. So if you have a lot of your money and your savings parked in those type of investments, now is the time for you to seriously consider assets that have a strong ability to pay dividends and appreciate over time. And the Nigerian stock market, which is one of the best performing markets in the world, provides a lot of opportunities there with some of these blue chip stocks. So definitely you want to aggressively consider that as well. Then step 4, consider purchasing real estate assets while there's a lag. And I gave an example about this earlier. As they eventually catch up with inflation, most especially rents. So even though you may have it, if you look at property, like I said, there's some areas where you look at it, maybe in Lagos, we'd say maybe in Ikorodu, there's some areas where maybe there's a particularly bad road. So because of that road, people have been less aggressive about buying in. So purchasing a property in that area might be more affordable than some other more popular areas. Be smart about this as you do your calculations. Think about access for the tenants. Think about safety of the area. But there are always some gems around that you just discover that for whatever reason, because when there's inflation, it may also affect everybody else's cash flow. So even don't be afraid to approach people who are selling and offer them what you can afford to pay. You may be surprised that the person is really in need of money and has been trying to offload this asset, and what they're asking for, they can maybe accept significantly less. So what's good about real estate is that it eventually catches up, and especially with rents, after a year and the tenant's rent has expired, you can correct the rent to accommodate for inflation. So no longer are you just a tenant crying about your landlord increasing your rent because of inflation. You now get the opportunity to become a landlord in your own way, and you also get to adjust for inflation. So that's another area. Real estate is a really good area to help you hedge against inflation. But remember, don't just increase rents because of inflation. Always take care of your property and your assets too. When you were a tenant, you didn't like it. When you felt your landlord just increased rents arbitrarily and did not care for the property, make sure that you do a minimum care and keep the property looking good so that they're happy to remain there while you have to increase rents from time to time. Step 5, explore new streams of income that could be nurtured now and pay handsomely in a few years down the road. One of the mistakes people make when they're looking for an additional stream of income is they expect to make big money now. And so once someone comes and tells you, why are you doing that? You're wasting your time. Come, I know someone, Mr. Emeka, he did this, and within 2 months, he had bought 5 cars. And the person leaves something that's potentially quite lucrative that they were building gradually up. They lose focus, they lose direction, and they keep going from one new scam to another, to another, and to another. And before they know it, their friend who kept their head down and kept focusing on these opportunities and nurturing them and developing them and investing them and learning from them and repositioning them now have what appears to be a thriving business. And they are still chasing one scam after the other. It's really important that you look around where you are, these areas where you have interest. So, for instance, if you have an interest as a teacher, maybe you work as a teacher and you're thinking long term, how will this work? You can provide tutoring services. You can work with some of your clients. You can help, in develop content that can target kids, that can keep them engaged. There's so many things you can do in that space. You can coach other teachers. And if you get to a point where, oh, you're so good that people are always referring you to people, you can get to a point where you create a network of teachers that you train, that you know have your quality, you do the initial meeting with the parent, the client. You say, look, these people are part of my stable of tutors. You can start a small tutoring service. You can gradually over time meet people that you can trust, who are committed to the profession, who have the same culture and values you do, so you have the confidence to refer them to clients that you can't handle. And once it's good, everybody comes together. Before you know it, that becomes an additional stream of income. I know people often said, you can't trust anybody. But betrayal is everywhere. Yes, you try and start a service business and your employees may try to circumvent you. But the truth is, if you are focused on improving that service, not just dumping the responsibility on them, but actually building a business and building a service culture and building operation manuals and insisting on consistency of content, there are lots of services businesses, that their employees try to steal their clients and they succeed for a time. But because that business has the process, it has the standard, it has the history, those same customers, when they get burnt, they come back. And they never leave again because they're like, no, what I'm getting here, I don't want to try and play around with it. So look at exploring and developing those streams. Look at it like growing a tree. You're not expecting fruits that is enough to feed you from a tree in the first 5 years. But does that mean that what you're doing is wasted? No. You keep at it, you keep working, you keep harvesting, you keep trimming, you keep fertilizing the ground, watering it, nurturing it, protecting it from attacks, and learning more and more and more until that stream becomes a bit more mature, it begins to deliver, value and fruit. And then you're like, okay, by the time it's delivering fruit, they say, did they plant the tree? The fruit just falls from the tree and she's enjoying it. No, you have to, there's a saying, they say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Begin to plant the seeds of that now. And better for you if you're younger. There's never a wrong age to start. Better for you if you're younger, you have the energy and the focus, but please focus on building something of quality that will build a positive reputation for you and help you going into the future. Now, I've already shared with you 5 key steps to protect your finances against inflation. I have a 6th one for you as a bonus since you're still here. And this 6th one is, please review your budget and reprioritize or eliminate unnecessary spending. So, for instance, if you travel abroad every quarter, you just, Nigeria is so stressful, I just need to go. Or you're living in the UK, I need to go on my holidays every quarter. If inflation is an issue and your salary has not been increased, that means what you're earning, or your business inflows have not been increased, please cut back until your inflows have increased. Don't continue living that lifestyle mindlessly, not realizing that things have changed. It's dangerous. Because what happens is that gap that you had, that was the room from which you would save and invest, begins to shrink and shrink and shrink. And before you know it, it becomes inverted and you now have a negative gap where you're borrowing literally every month. You're not able to meet your obligations. So it's really important that you look at your budget and reprioritize and eliminate unnecessary spend. Well, that's it for me today. I'd like to ask you again to give us a thumbs up. You've watched the video. Also share this with 5 people and subscribe. All right, as I always say, please be humble and learn. Bye for now.